gala, 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 gala. Wow.
1.7 million pounds of thrust.
1.7 million pounds.
As the vehicle pitching down range and making its way up the East Coast, and will soon join Expedition 73 aboard the orbiting laboratory. So far, getting good callouts on that first stage performance.
We are now T plus 35 seconds into the Crew-11 mission on board Dragon and Falcon 9. The Falcon 9 engines are throttling down to help pass through the period of max Q, or maximum aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle during ascent.
Max Q.
We just had a max Q right there.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
1 minute 9 seconds into what is a little bit more less than a 9-minute flight uphill as Dragon continuing.
Copy, 1 Bravo.
That 1 Bravo again, that's the abort zone, that last abort zone for stage 1 if necessary. The crew already pulling over 2 Gs. Next, we're going to have a couple of events happen in rapid succession. We'll be getting ready for the second stage to warm up, and at the second stage, MVAC chill. And then we'll also have MECA, or main engine cutoff, where the 9 engines on the first stage will cut off ahead of the first and second stages, where they'll be separating from one another. And then the single Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage will ignite and continue to carry Crew-11 to orbit, while the first stage begins its journey back to Earth, as we're now 1 minute and 56 seconds into today's flight.
The 9 Merlin engines are starting to throttle down and are standing by for MECA, or main engine cutoff.
MVAC chill started.
We just heard that call out for MVAC chill. And coming up in under like 20 seconds, we have 5 events happening back to back.
Just showing the back of the
Stage separation, stage 1 flip, SES1, and the start of
rocket.
boost back burn. It's going to be pretty quick, so keep a close eye on the action and the mission event tracker at the bottom of your screen.
Stage separation confirmed. Alpha.
Stage 2 separated.
MVAC ignition.
Okay, this is a critical moment here. We now have first stage and second stage separation. Second stage starts, and then we're going to look into the boost back burn, which will begin at 2:41 and 3:28 before it ends. Let's just keep that up, keep that sound up so we can hear what they're saying.
Continuing its path to orbit, now approaching 3 minutes into today's flight. Still a little ways to go, about 6 minutes left, as they continue to climb their way up and eventually track down the International Space Station.
Yeah, again, the space station traveling at 17,000 miles per hour, about 220 miles above the Earth. That means, of course, the Dragon's got to catch up to it. It's got to also travel. Once it's fully in space, it's got to go to 17,000 miles as well, docking to the space station tomorrow at 3 in the morning. The next moment we're going to be really watching here is going to be at about 6:33 into this timeline, in which we have the first stage entry burning ending. And then we'll look at the landing burn starting for the first stage. Let's bring back in now astronaut U.S. Colonel Katie Coleman is with us. And Katie, it never gets old, does it?
You know, it doesn't, and I have to tell you, I mean, I'm both grinning and my stomach is clenched at the same time. And I love these visuals where the fact that we have these cameras and you know, everyone can basically go to space and with them. It's amazing, and I would say the stomach clenching comes because it's really clear that everything has to go right, and that depends on everyone doing their very best to do what they need to do to get this crew ready.
It is absolutely stunning, and how fortunate we are that they put cameras everywhere on this rocket now. And you know, we've almost now taken it for granted, Katie, this trademarked SpaceX move in which they bring that first stage back and they land it on the pad. You know, nobody else in the world does that, and nobody has ever done it until SpaceX.
Well, it is certainly saving, it means a lot to the planet to be able to bring back and recycle like this, and now being able to do it. They're sure enough, they don't do it off on a barge, they can do it at a landing pad, really makes things much more efficient as well. But even these visuals of, like, for example, the second stage engine lighting, you were saying, now we're looking at this, second stage lighting, and already by the color and the fact that it's orange, we're beginning to see, we have that sort of gut confirmation.
Yeah, it's just unbelievably cool, I would say. 6:20, 6 minutes, 20 seconds into the timeline is when the first stage re-entry burn starts. Again, at 6:20 on the counter. Watch that closely. Marissa Parra down at the Kennedy Space Center has got the most envied view of all of us, right? We're all envious of you, Marissa.
You taught me well, Tom. I remember the first few launches with you, and one thing you taught us all so well is, while it is a beautiful display of human engineering, right? This is human collaboration across countries. It is still something that not only never gets old, but you never let your guard down. And I think that Katie just described it so well, because you feel a rush of excitement, but also the nerves, because we all know how, even though they make it look easy, it is not easy. Everything does have to go well. And even now, we're listening to those call outs. So far, they are very good. But we are listening intently for every single milestone to make sure we're hearing those call outs at the time we're supposed to be hearing them. But it just goes to show, the weather is a perfect example, right, Tom? Yesterday, you and I were talking, the blue skies were looking so positive until the last 30 minutes. Those clouds rolled in, and they just so happened to be at the wrong place. Today, I'm seeing these clouds. They continue to move in, but it didn't matter, because all that mattered was the trajectory of this crew. There was not, luckily for all of us, it didn't interfere with this launch, because all that mattered is that this is a clear path for them, the ascent corridor. So this is a beautiful launch so far, and we're hearing those. If I
look
heard
like
correctly,
those
we're
are
getting closer
the
to
aluminum
Seco 1.
foil.
We talked about some pretty important milestones. Max Q, moment of peak mechanical stress on the rocket. MECO, main engine cutoff, and the next one we are waiting for, of course, Tom, is Seco. And we will be here when second engine cutoff is announced, Tom.
Let's just draw the audience's attention. On the left, you see the first stage coming back down to Earth. They've already started the burn and ended the burn, so it's on path then to land. The left side, you see the speed of stage 1 and the altitude. The altitude's coming down as we now go towards landing, which the landing burns starting at 7:20 right about now. Watch it closely. Let's bring up the sound.
Hopefully have some great tracking shots of that.
Stage 1, landing burn. Stage 2, FTS, safety.
Oh, that is coming back. You see? Ah. Wow.
Look at that. Bingo.
Wow.
Let's listen to them applaud.
Oh my God. It is not to be returned before.
Said it would land at 7:43. It landed at precisely 7:43. On the right side, look at those two dials. That's the speed now of the second stage in orbit. Now the altitude 198, as you can see, kilometers high, and the speed is accelerating as we go. Now at nearly 22,000 kilometers per hour. I'm going to bring back in the only one of us who's ever done this, really ever done this. And let's talk again to Colonel Coleman. Katie, your thoughts?
It's amazing to see. I can't stop breathing until that secondary engine cut off, because that is the last push that they need to get them safely to space and on their way to the space station.
And that's at 8:46, Katie. I just want to make the point. It's about to happen. Let's listen. 8:46 for secondary stage cutoff. Seco.
Here we just heard that good call out for Seco, or second engine cutoff.
Why, Katie? Why does that matter to you? Why do you hold your breath until then?
Well, especially the way the SpaceX rocket is. I mean, you have literally exactly enough fuel to get to the point in the sky and the speed in the sky or in space that you need to catch up with that space station. So every bit of fuel counts, and of course they've got some margins in there. So that they now have all the momentum that they need to then gradually catch up with the space station, which they'll do tomorrow night. And I know that they were probably looking forward to their 39-hour catching up, I have to say, because to me it was one of the most special things I got to do, was to be for 2 days literally in that small Soyuz spacecraft, like they are
Separation,
in the
Katie, right there. Second stage
Here we
has
go.
now separated from Dragon. Is that an amazing shot or what? I mean, it looks like, you know, from the 1970s movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, just never gets old.
And I think it shows people like going to space can happen and they can be a part of it, and that it takes a sense of excellence and passion and being at the leading edge that we have to have for the future.
Okay, let's draw the audience's attention again now down to the mission timeline there. 10 minutes, 11 seconds. We're looking at 10:25. The nose cone open sequence begins. We're going to be listening and watching for that. Let's bring it up.
Over to launch director for a few words. On behalf of the launch team, it's been an absolute honor working with you towards launch today. We wish you well on the rest of your mission, and we will be awaiting your safe return. Godspeed Endeavour, Godspeed Crew-11, and thanks for flying SpaceX.
SpaceX Dragon, I have no emotion but joy right now. That was absolutely transcendent. Ride of a lifetime. Thank you. This has been an incredible honor. And it's my privilege now to pass us along to Mike working with this award.
Boy, it's great to be back in orbit again. Thank you to SpaceX and NASA to get us here.
They're speaking from the space.
And Sabina and Oleg, let me be the second to welcome you to your first orbit around beautiful planet Earth. Kimya-san, welcome back to the ISS Expedition 73 team. The crew on board and our friends in MCC, we're on our way. Over to you, Kimya-san.
There we go, and now they're going to let the Russian astronaut and the Japanese astronaut say a few words. And you know, Mike made the point, and it's important that Zina Cardman, who of course is the mission commander, has never been to space before. She's gone through a year.